Here's a question I get all the time. It's dressed up different ways every time. Why do I need to talk to thousands of women? Can I just get really good with one? And look, I get what guys ask that, but think about it like this. Practicing on one woman and calling yourself good with women is like running a clinical trial with one patient. You give them the drugs, nothing bad happens, and you go, great, ship it. That's not data, that's a guess. Wearing a lab coat, here's the things about this game. It's not arithmetic. You don't get to plug in a formula and expect the same output every time. Because the input, the woman, the room, the night, is never the same twice. It's live. The variable are always like shifting. And if you only ever run it against one input, you don't have a system, you have an anecdote. That's why reps matter so much. Not because more is always better for its own sake. Because the bigger data set, the more pattern you can actually see. You start noticing what I call invisible thread. The different ways of conversation can branch out from the same starting point. Tell the same story 100 times to 100 people, 100 different people, and you start to know exactly where it can go. Somewhere hits with you with a comment you never heard before. That's not an insult, that's a new entry in the data set. Next time, response loaded, massive repetition of social interaction. That's the only real way to build a social intelligence that actually holds up under pressure. Not theory, reps. Let's say you got the reps in on the approach. You can walk up to anybody, no problem. That's huge, by the way. A lot of guys never get past that. But then you're stuck. You open, she polite, and then nothing. It just goes nowhere. Here's what probably happening. You're not hooking the set. Opening and hooking are two different things. Opening gets her attention. Hooking is what moves her from who is this guy and why is talking to me to okay, this guy is interesting. I hope he doesn't leave. And you got about like 2 minutes to make that shift happen. 2 minutes. If you're past that mark and you still hasn't hooked, it's probably over, and that's fine. A clean, fast, no beat, 20 minutes of a conversation that was never going anywhere in the first place. A few reasons to run through them, because see this constantly. One, standing too far away. Guys keep this polite little like 3-foot gap, like they're saying, saving the room for something sacred between them and the girl. You gotta close that gap. Not aggressively, just be there, physically present. I tells her without a word that there's a man in front of her and not a kid asking for direction. Two, too much disinterest. Guys here, don't be needy. And they translate that into act like she doesn't even exist. I've watched like guys talk to a girl with their whole body like turned away from her. And that's not confidence, that's just being rude. What you want is tentative interest, not active disinterest. You're interested in her. You're just not hanging your whole identity on the outcome. Number 3, not moving things forward. This one is huge. Guys will open with a line and they just stay there, beat the same topic to death for 15 minutes because it forced once. There's a classic opener. You walk up to a bar, tap her on the shoulder, you're looking at the bar maybe, and you're like, hey, which one of these beer is going to make me cooler? She answers, you laugh, and then you roll straight into who you are. That's the move. Guys mess this up by getting an answer about the beer, and they just talk about the beer like for 15 minutes. Straight into the friend zone and straight into it. I have to go find my friend, which, by the way, nobody's friend is ever actually 5 feet away hiding behind a pillar. You know she's just leaving. So 4, overframing the group. You don't want the group approval before you isolate the one you're actually interested in. That's part real, and it protects her from feeling like she's doing something wrong in front of her friend. But there's a version of this where you spend so much energy winning over the friend that you get stuck here. And here's the brutal part. Sometimes the girl you actually want will assume you are into her less outgoing friend, and she just step back and let that happen. Get the group approval, then move. Don't camp out there. Number 5, not flirting. If there's no tension in it, there's no juice in it. You got to be willing to signal clearly that this isn't the customer service interaction, playful, a little bit charged. Number 6 is like energy calibration. Walk into a loud room where everyone amp up and rolling flat and monotone, and you just noise to them. You've got to match the room or come in slightly above, usually like 10-20%. The real problem is guys get addicted to the feeling of clean open, and they get scared to push past it because they don't want to lose that feeling, which doesn't make sense. If you think about it, you've built like a whole strategy around avoiding progress, because progress might end well or badly. And either way, it's better than standing still. Let's talk about the fear part, because a version of this question comes into my inbox constantly. Some guy saw a girl and he froze up, said nothing. And now he wants to know how to guarantee he won't get rejected before he talks to her. I got bad news for you, and good news also. Bad news? You can't guarantee that. Good news? It stopped mattering. Rejection trigger a pain response. That's real. That's biology. And it's not something you're broken for feeling. But pain response are trainable. Same way a fighter trains himself to stop flinching at contact. You can't train yourself out of flinching at social pressure. You do it through exposure, period. Straight up, repeated, deliberate exposure. And here's the part guys don't expect. Once you build that tolerance, it doesn't just protect you from feeling bad. It reads as status. Because someone's secure enough not to be rattled by the stranger reaction is signaling something. People notice that. So here's a 6-step process I run when my own state isn't where I want it to be walking into a room. Simple system. I use it like a checklist all the time, standard operation. 1, approach everybody in the environment. Not because you're supposed to walk to talk to everybody in the room, because you're training a reflex. You see someone, you go. If you can't do that with the easy, low pressure interaction, you're not going to be able to do it later when it actually matters to you. 2, minimizing the gap between interaction. Don't walk up, get blown off, and then go nurse a beer with your buddy for 10 minutes, talking about what just happened. Your step drops every second. You sit in that gap, keep moving. Approach, 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 back to back. And you build momentum instead of losing it. 3, don't judge yourself on the outcome. Judge yourself on whether you actually did the things, walked up, talked to her like a person, and stay amused instead of performing. If you did those 3 things, that's a win, regardless of what she said. 4, find something funny on the aftermath. It's your night, not hers. If you watch guys go from having like a great time to completely like deflated the second girl walk away, like the whole scene ended, because she left. It didn't end. You're still there. Keep going. 5, short and sweet early, then extend later. And the start of the night, keep it light. Keep compliment, like quick joking, or a night goes on, you start extending time with whoever actually responding, narrowing it downhill. You gotta one real conversation. You're willing to commit the rest of the night to. Number 6 is like a little bit more like edge, which each interaction, a little bit more like proximity, a little bit more directness about what you want. You build it up rep by rep instead of trying to start at full intensity cold. Follow that system and yeah, you're still going to get told no a lot, but you start seeing the pattern underneath, the no's, and that's where the actual confidence like come from. Not from someone telling you you're good, from reps, experience, build competence. And competence is the only thing that beats like real confidence. Everything else is just like pep talk to me. There's an old line I heard early on and I still think about it. Every failure is a brick in your palace, meaning every rep, good or bad, gets stacked into the structure you're building. Whether it feels like progress in the moment or not so much, things as wasted rep. And honestly, there's no such a thing as like wasted rep. And honestly, there's no such a thing as failure here at all. There's only feedback. The guys who chasing a guaranteed outcome, trying to make sure he never gets told no, is the guy who ends up sabotaging himself before he even opens his mouth. Because he's playing not to lose instead of playing to build something. I get a specific version of the confidence question all the times. Guys making real progress, then an ex resurface. They get back in touch and suddenly he can't approach anyone. He just talk orbiting her again and he's like, how I think about that one. If you want the freedom that comes with playing the field and you also want the exclusivity and the comfort of a real relationship at the same time with the effort of like neither that match doesn't work, pick a lane, at least for a reason. And when it comes like to X specifically, ask yourself, the question you were probably avoiding, there were a reason it ended. And probably a real one, since by your own account, it ended like badly. One conversation with an ex as a way of making an old relationship feel new again, about a week, right up until it reminds you exactly why you left in the first place. So consider that's what's actually pulling you back. Might not be her. It might be that validation feels good right now because your game is a rough patch. And she's the easiest source of like sitting right there. That's worth being honest with yourself about before you make any decision. Either way, I want to bring in one more piece because I think it matters more than people giving you credit. Your game doesn't exist in a vacuum. It sits on top of the rest of your life, your health, your work, your finance. Think all of it like a tripod, 3 legs. If one leg goes weak, the whole thing gets shaky, even if the other 2 are solid. Walk yourself into the ground and you won't have the energy or the time to actually go practice. Let your health slide and your confidence slides with it. It's all connected. So if you in a season where work has to come first, fine, handle that. The game will still be there when you're ready to come back to it. It's not like the gym. Stop training for a few weeks and yeah, you feel rusty when you start again. But the strength comes back faster than it did the first time because your body and your brain already know the pattern. That's muscle memory and it applies just as much here as it does under a barbell. Now, once you can open and you can hook, there's a skill people skip past. It might be the most important one, just being able to vibe. Sit in a conversation and actually have something to say without reaching for a script. If you ever catch yourself digging around in your head for the next line, that's usually a sign the conversation already gone stale. The fix isn't a better line. It's building the habit of finding an angle on literally anything. Try this pick, a random word. Doesn't matter what. Now, build a 30-second story, opinion around it. Laugh, right now. That's a rep. Do it enough, and you stop freezing when the conversation goes somewhere you didn't plan for. One more piece here, because it pairs with vibing. Once you build some attraction, you also want to qualify her, which you just mean showing her specifically what makes her unique to you, not generic flattery, something specific. Something like, whoa, I didn't expect to run into someone actually I thought was interesting tonight. But here we are. That's not a compliment about her looks. It's just noticing something particular about her, naming it. Do that on top of a good vibe and people feel it. Let's talk about compliment for a second too, because guys ask about this constantly. What do you actually say when a woman compliments you on your style, your talent, whatever it is? Here's the thing to understand. A lot of the time, that compliment doubles as little test. Not because she's calculating, but because however you respond, tell her something about you. Handle it the boring way and just say thanks and move on. That works fine. But there's a more fun version I use pretty often. I will take almost anything a woman says and playful misread it as her being into me. So if she says something, I love that, about literally anything, I'll come back with, I love you too. That's awesome. You're awesome. Deadpan, like we've been dating for years. Or if she compliments something specific of mine, I'll pause, smirk, and say something like, so I guess you're ready to get out of here then, huh? Give her a little tap on the arm and call her like a dork right after. The joke does two things at once. That's combination teasing plus obvious unbotheredness. What actually builds attraction, not the compliment itself. I used to over-rely on prepared material. Genuinely, I had lines written down, folded up, and I sneak up just to review them mid-interaction, like I was cramming for a test. And it worked sort of. I was funny, I was touching one thing, but nothing ever actually went anywhere because I was really there. I was performing a script instead of having a conversation. A friend finally pulled me aside and said something so simple, it's almost annoying me, just talk to them. Keep it fun. That one sentence changed more about my game than any tactic that I learned up to that point. Last things, I hear this a lot. The club version of this doesn't work at the grocery store, the mall, wherever I actually am. And you're right, the executions change, but the mechanics underneath it don't. What you're working with on attraction actually forms, how comfort gets built. That's the same wiring in every environment because it's the same wiring in every person. The club is just loud and high stimulation, so you calibrate your energy up to match it. And quiet setting, you calibrate down. Different setting, same system. Honestly, if you could hold your own in a loud room full of competition and noise, wherever else is going to feel easy by comparison. Training with extra weight on, then taking it off for the actual moment that count. Same reason a guy who can run a system under bad lighting, loud music, and 3 other guys competing for the same girl's attention is going to look downright relaxed, running the same system in a quiet coffee shop with nobody around. The environment isn't the skill, it's just the stress test. So that's the breakdown. Rep builds the data set. The data set builds the pattern recognition. Pattern recognition is what actually becomes confident, not some switch that flips overnight. If you want to shortcut some of that learning curve, I've got another bootcamp coming up, and we're gonna be in New York, and I'm walking guys through this stuff live, in the field, in real time, like tonight. We're in the Excess, we're actually in Encore Beach, Las Vegas, and we're doing all this live, end-to-end with the client. Link is in the description below. Go check the schedule and grab a spot before it fills. It was Bryce. Until next time, peace.